Je remercie.
I thank the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs of Slovenia, and I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Xavier Bettel, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade and Minister for Cooperation and Humanitarian Action of Luxembourg.
Dear Faisal, dear Jean-Noël, dear friends. Pour moi, venir ici.
For me, coming here was something that wasn't just part of my work, it was a duty. It's a duty as someone who has now been Foreign Minister for almost 18 months. I've been to Palestine and Israel 4 times, and once I went to Jordan, and countries that are also experiencing the direct consequences of the situation. I've been to Egypt once and Qatar once, and I'd like to thank both of you for inviting us here to keep up the momentum on the situation in Palestine. This situation, when you look at public opinion, is divisive. Some are for it, some are against. Can't we just take a position for peace, for young people, for women, for people who have nothing? Do we have to take a position today which is for Palestine and therefore against Palestine, or for Palestine and therefore against Israel? These are the cliches that we want to fall into, that we have to be against each other and not find pragmatic solutions in this situation. I'm also thinking about the hostages from the 7th of October, families who don't even know whether their relatives are still alive. Imagine being in that situation and not knowing what happened to a member of your family. So we need to be brave, to all of us, to be able to forge ahead in one direction towards peace and to ensure that we can live together. For the Palestinian Authority, it's very difficult. And as we saw today, it's very difficult to condemn Hamas, and we know that Hamas, for some, is still the solution in Gaza. To have to explain to young Gazans who have just buried their parents following bombings the night before that they have to find peace with Israel, to say to young Israelis that they have to find peace with Palestinians when some of their relatives are still being held hostage. But that's the reality on the ground. So today, I see a situation that is very difficult to accept, very difficult to understand, and nonetheless we've understood the reaction of Israel that wanted to have self-defense and defense to the action of the 7th of October. But we need to keep proportions and see what is proportionate today. We have UNRWA. UNRWA was the first agency to have to close, and we can see that the aid that should have been delivered by UNRWA, those on the ground are seeing every day how important they were for health, for education, for humanitarian action. More than 1,000 people have died just going to find aid, to get food. And today, if you don't get shot or killed under bombs, you'll die of starvation following the humanitarian aid that's been blocked at the borders. So this really is an inexplicable, intolerable situation. UNRWA wasn't perfect, and we have our report from our ex-colleague Ms. Colonna, who shows where action needs to be taken, and we've seen the determination from the Palestinians to go in that direction. We've heard from Minister Smutrich Ben-Gvir, who will say that if we occupy Palestine, we will have no more housing issues, to say that a prime minister that's also silent. I was a Prime Minister for 10 years of Luxembourg, and when I saw something that was unacceptable, I said so. I said that words were unacceptable, and that the silence of President Netanyahu is a fact after the atrocious words of certain ministers that we've heard in recent days. So I want to say that this is an important time, that Arab countries and Muslim countries today are showing this solidarity, a condemnation of Hamas, because the first question that they ask our country is, do you condemn Hamas? No. We need to ensure demilitarization of Hamas. Hamas can't be an alternative to the Palestinian Authority. We have to have elections in Palestine. We have to have demilitarization. We have to have de-radicalization. But we have to give hope to the Palestinian population that today, if it doesn't see a solution, risks being even more demanding and wanting to react to what it's seen. So we need to give hope to young Palestinian people and a future to young Palestinian people. And we need to strengthen the Palestinian Authority. We are seeing that the money from taxes paid by Palestinians is not paid back to the Palestinian authorities by the Israeli government. It's a very difficult situation, but the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg president is leaning in the direction of taking this step in September and to recognise the state of Palestine. We're being asked, well, will that change anything? Last year we saw Slovenia, Norway, Spain and Ireland that already did that. But I hope that this dynamic now, President, will make it possible to make progress. We see great determination to condemn Hamas, or demilitarize Hamas among countries in the Middle East. So we mustn't lose this momentum, and we hope that one day our Israeli colleagues will understand that Israeli security will be peace in Palestine, and that saying today that supporting Palestine is not an act against Israel. On the contrary, it is for a future in security for future generations. Thank you.
Je remercie